Hello everybody, DK Legend here, and welcome to another series of franchise ranking video. And in today's video, we are ranking the Spanish horror franchise known as REC. Now, I just checked this franchise out for the first time about a week and a half ago, around that. It took me quite a while to finish these because, I'll spoil right up the front, one of these movies is really fucking awful, but, I'll be honest, the rest of them were pretty freaking good, aside from that one. So, there's one movie in this franchise that I thought was really terrible, and the rest I thought were pretty darn good. So, with that being said, I don't think I'm going to waste any time. I think we're just going to jump right into it. Let's get to the ranking. By the way, if you want to check this franchise out, I highly recommend the Scream Factory box set here. This box set is absolutely awesome. It comes with all 4 movies. Very, very amazing box set. Highly recommended if you want to check out the franchise for the first time. With that being said, let's get into the ranking. Coming in at the number 4 spot on this list is REC 3 Genesis. God, this movie is awful. It is terrible. This movie was so bad, I was dreading watching the 4th one because of how terrible this one was. Luckily, the 4th one did not disappoint, but holy shit, this movie sucks. Where to even begin with this? This movie jumps all over the place with the found footage thing. It starts out as found footage, and then they're like, okay, it's not a found footage movie, actually. We're done with the found footage. And then there's like this segment where they're like crawling through like this, through like a vent, and there's like a split second of found footage again, and then it goes right back. Like, what the fuck is the point of that? And it's just, it makes no fucking sense. Another thing that this movie is cheesy as fuck. But it's not good cheesy, it's stupid cheesy. And it's not stupid good cheesy, it's just stupid cheesy. It's so stupid. These two characters are so like, oh I love you, and they use it at every single turn. That's like their entire character trait is they love each other. Because this movie is about a wedding, of course, that goes horribly wrong within the zombie apocalypse and whatnot. But yes, all the main characters are just like, I love you, and it's so stupid. It's so freaking cheesy. And the way this movie ends as well is absolutely awful. Oh, and also, one thing that pissed me off with this movie, the way this movie looks, it looks like a freaking trailer. The entire runtime, it looks like a freaking trailer. It looks terrible, honestly. It's really ugly. It just is not appealing whatsoever. The whole movie looks like a trailer. Another thing about it, all the characters in this movie, besides the 2 main characters, the husband and the wife, they are literally there to give you about 2 really stupid lines of dialogue and then get eaten by zombies. That's their entire role in this movie. Every character that isn't the husband and the wife says like 2 really stupid things and then gets eaten by zombies. Time after time after time. Yeah, I can't say enough terrible things about this movie. I would not recommend you watch it. If you're gonna check this franchise out, which you absolutely should, because spoiler alert, the rest of the movies in the franchise are really good, skip this one. Just skip it. It doesn't even tie into the next movies. It is a terrible, terrible movie. Oh, and the ending as well. I gotta talk about the ending. The ending of this movie is so stupid, and it didn't have to be. They could have at least had a good ending, because spoiler alert, I'll throw a spoiler warning out there, but basically, the movie, there's a scene towards the end of the movie where the husband and wife are confronted by a horde of zombies, and they're about to give in, and they give up, they embrace each other, and that's how the movie should have ended. That's how the movie should have ended. It should have just faded to black right there and left it up to you. That would have been a cool ending, but no, we can't have any redeemable factors about this movie. So, what do? They prolong this inevitable end for like 6 minutes of just garbage. It's just stupid, pathetic, useless thing after stupid, pathetic, useless thing. Like one of their, like the girl gets bitten and then they chop her arm off, so now you think everything's okay, and then, oh no, it's not okay, which apparently that's a thing now. I mean, we all saw The Walking Dead. You chop your limb off before the infection spreads, it doesn't work, right? But no, she still gets infected by the virus, and they still die in the exact same way. They die embraced, and it's stupid. It's terrible. REC 3, fucking 1 out of 10. Terrible. Horrible movie. Don't watch it. If you're gonna watch this franchise, just skip this one. Trust me, you'll thank me. Trust me, you'll thank me. REC 3 sucks. Coming in at the number 3 spot on this list is Rec 2. Now, this one is quite a bit better than 3, but I still had quite a bit of issues with this one. Particularly, it was, in my opinion, a big downgrade from Rec 1 because this movie, they introduced this plot line in this movie about possession and like demons and whatnot, and that was hinted at in the first movie, but they never really went into it. But this movie is like a big plot line in this movie, and the thing is, now there's too much going on now with that, because now it's a zombie movie and it's a possession movie, and it's all kind of a mess in the end. It all becomes a big mess at the end of this movie. And another thing about this movie is there's this entire plot line with a whole other group of people that enter the building before it gets quarantined, and it's so stupid. It's so terrible. I really wish they had just left out entirely, and they don't even really get that much out of it. There's one scene where they talk to one of the people as talking to the demon. So there's that. That's about the only thing you get out of it, other than a couple of extra kills. But the characters that are introduced, they suck. They're annoying. You don't care about them. And other than that, though, other than those things, this movie is overall good. It's very effective. It's very scary. There are some very suspenseful scenes in this movie, particularly with the police officers. The actors do a great job. The doctor guy also did a great job. He was kind of sleazy, a bit of an untrustworthy guy. And he was good. And another thing about this movie that also kind of disappointed me a little bit is I really loved Angela from the first movie. And from what I heard, Rec 2 was going to start right after the first movie, kind of like Hatchet, how every Hatchet movie starts right after the end of the last one. But you don't actually get to Angela until like 75% of the way through the movie. And then that is my last thing I'm going to complain about with this movie. I did not like the ending of this movie. The end of this movie, Angela, who I really loved in the first movie, Angela kind of becomes a total badass at the end of this movie, and then it's revealed that she's possessed, so it wasn't actually her. So everyone who loved Angela in the first movie is watching this like, yes! Fuck yes! I can love Angela even more now. Now you're like, it wasn't even her, that sucks. But luckily they fixed that in the fourth movie. But still, I really, really, really did not care for that ending. And also, I will say this, the shot of the demon girl putting the parasite into Angela, one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit, I almost threw up in my mouth when I saw that. It was so disgusting. But, with that being said, I think that's everything I can talk about with Rec 2. Overall, Rec 2 was a good movie. However, I just feel it fell flat in a couple spots. The extra group that comes into the building, the ending, as well as the, what was the last thing I complained about that I can't remember now. Oh yes, introducing the possession element into the movie, in my opinion, just kind of made it just make less sense overall. For me, I think a franchise should stick to one thing. Like Rec, you should stick to zombies, basically, because the zombie thing worked, and the possession thing was talked about in the first movie, but nothing really came out of it. But the second movie, they really go hard with the possession thing, and I don't know, it just became very difficult to follow in the end. So Rec 2 is number 3. It's still a pretty good movie. I would recommend checking this one out. Definitely would recommend checking out the rest of these. But yes, nowhere near as bad as Rec 3. That's for goddamn sure. Coming in at number 2 is Rec 4 Apocalypse. I loved this one. This one was a total blast, start to finish. So in this movie, you follow Angela again, and this movie completely retcons the end of Part 4. In Part 2. This movie retcons the end of Part 2, because in Part 2, the parasite possesses her, and she's talking as the demon girl, and, you know, obviously, if you watch the end of Part 2, then you know that. But in this movie, they retcon it to say that it's just a parasite that was implanted, that was given to Angela, and it doesn't actually possess her, or so you thought, because the whole movie she does not act possessed at all, and then at the end there's this twist, and it's revealed that the parasite was actually put into another host, which was kind of cool as well. But the thing that makes this movie very cool is that it all takes place on this boat, and it's such a cool setting for a zombie apocalypse movie. It's a very narrow, there's like a lot of narrow hallways, big like these giant metal doors that keep the zombies out. There's like windows, so the zombies are like just smacking against the windows. It's just really cool. You get a lot of cool shots in this movie where like someone will be running down the super narrow hallway, and there'll be a second person behind them, and they'll slam the door shut before the next person can come in. So you get the shot of the zombies just destroying the person in that little window in the door. Very, very, very cool movie in my opinion. Very, very cool. Another thing about this movie pretty much abandons the found footage thing entirely. I don't think there's a second of found footage in this entire movie, and I definitely think that was the right way to go because it was just so ridiculous in part 3 when they just kept trying to bring in the found footage thing for no fucking reason whatsoever. But this one pretty much completely abandons it. You get a lot of great characters in this movie as well. Once again, you get Angela back, which is awesome because I freaking loved Angela from the first movie. But you also get some other great characters. You get the 2 police officer guys, which were both really, really great characters. You get Nick, who is the other, who was your other main character in this movie, who at first you think Nick is kind of this kind of sleazy scumbag type guy, but he actually turns out to be a really, really cool character, and you're really happy for his fate at the end. So yes, very, very cool characters. You also get this plot line where they're trying to develop this cure for the infection, for the virus. And that's all really good. You get a lot of good characters out of that. You got a lot of great kills in this movie, like I already said, with the swinging doors and the windows in the doors. It's overall very, very, very cool movie. I enjoyed this one start to finish. I really, really liked this one. It is hands down my second favorite of the franchise. And once again, this also fixes the ending of part 2. Because like I said before, I really love Angela in part 1. And at the end of part 2, they kind of fuck with you because she becomes this total badass character, and then it's revealed that she's actually possessed by the demon. And then in this movie, you think she's possessed by the demon because obviously you watched part 2 before this, but then at the end it's turned out that she isn't actually anymore. She transferred the parasite to one of the police guys, which I guess I should have threw a spoiler warning out there. I'm assuming nobody's watching watching this video after without actually seeing any of the movie. So hopefully I didn't just spoil the movie for you guys, but. Yes, so she doesn't actually have it in there, so you actually do get Angela in this movie for the entire runtime, and at the end of this movie, once again, she does become a total badass character, and once again, you can love Angela again, so very, very cool movie. Rec 4 is absolutely awesome, highly recommended, absolutely loved the shit out of Rec 4, 9 out of 10 probably. I would give this a 9 out of 10, awesome third act as well, so great, really, really well shot. Yes, absolutely loved Rec 4 Apocalypse, very, very good movie. Which, of course, brings us to number 1, which, no surprise to anybody, number 1 is Rec 1. This movie is fantastic. It's amazing. It's not quite as amazing as I was expecting it to be because I checked out this franchise when I was told that these 2 movies in particular were absolutely brilliant, 2 of the scariest and best horror films ever made. And in my opinion, that was not the case, especially not this one. This is definitely nowhere near that. But this one was close, but I still don't think it's as scary and as good as everyone said it was. That being said, still very scary, very good. I would say it's about a 9.5 out of 10. It is a very good movie. You got a lot of really great characters in this movie. Once again, you get Angela, who is absolutely awesome in this movie. I love her. The actress does a phenomenal job. She's a very compelling character. DK, you just like her because she's cute. Yes, but she's also a very cool character. I really, really loved Angela in this movie. She was an awesome protagonist. You also get a lot of other great characters. The firemen guys are all really cool. You get the police guys. And like in this situation, there's a lot of like the sanity teeters and the police officers start turning on each other. It's a very, very, very cool movie. The entire quarantine aspect is very, very cool. There's a lot of very, very cool moments in this. A lot of very cool kills. Like one in particular that I thought was really cool is they handcuff this woman to the pole because they think she's been infected. So they handcuff her to the pole, and then they have to escape, and they can't get the key. So this woman's stuck there as the zombie horde comes through. And I just thought that was a really, really, really cool kill. I mean, that poor woman, obviously, but still, I thought that was a very cool setup for a very cool kill. And yes, overall, there's a lot of those in this movie. This is a very, very, very good zombie movie, and it's also a very, very good found footage movie as well. I am a fan of found footage movies, and I found this one really, really, really enjoyable. And yeah, and it doesn't waste too much time either. This movie doesn't really waste a lot of time with getting you to the good stuff. There's like 1 or 2 scenes before before shit starts happening, but once shit starts happening, it gets really, really good, and it doesn't really slow down from there. So once again, I think think Rec is an absolutely awesome film. I would highly recommend it. Definitely my favorite of the franchise. Honestly, these two were super, super close. I was honestly considering putting Rec 4 at the top because I really, really loved it. But I think this, in the end, is going to be my ranking. So Rec, then Rec 4, then Rec 2, and finally Rec 3. This is the ranking. Worst, second worst, second best, and best. There you have it, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more franchise rankings. Next will be Paranormal Activity, and this is DK Guillotine, signing out. Remember, record everything at all costs.